Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Vote 24. It's an interesting day today. We are like testing this platform. This platform is a pro-democracy advocacy radio, and we are intending to get ourselves involved with those things that are not being debated in the Liberian political and democratic setting. What we see nowadays is the polarization of the society through between two political extremities. We want to make sure that we are able to discuss those things that matter, the policy issues, and we want to also be able to lend our hands to those people who are responsible for policy making to see how we can provide some technical support to whatsoever they do. So just refer to us as a partner in the democratization process, as we have always done. And it is important that we sit on this. So today, briefly in this initial meeting, we are going to be focusing mainly on what we are going to be doing in the next few weeks. That is commemorating the student currently, and kind of reflecting on the student struggle in Liberia and how it contributed to the democratization process. But in the same time too, we have lost one of our own, a very strong and revolutionary comrade in person of Comrade Varney, Alieu, President Emeritus of the Liberian National Student Union, and President of the All African Student Union. He has worked in Liberia and across Africa to ensure that there is Pan-Africanism and Africa unite for a common cause. We will be looking at all of those briefly and trying to call attention to the rest of our colleagues here in the diaspora and in Liberia that Vote 24 is coming your way, and it is important that we all make our contribution as we did before through this media. And I have with me on the panel Comrade Wilmot Smith. Comrade Wilmot Smith has dedicated his life to service in Liberia. He has contributed significantly to the growth and development of our country in recent time. It is very important that people like Comrade Wilmot Smith and the likes all across Liberia who have some contribution to the country, we refer to them as patriots, who have some contribution to the country, come out here and try to give their experiences and contribute to the debate currently in the country, and how provide recommendation on how we can move forward. Comrade Wilmot Smith, you are welcome. You can go higher.
Thank you, Comrade Heron Guidi. Let me begin by thanking the brains behind this great innovation that is going to be hitting the Liberia media landscape in the coming days, in the coming weeks, and eventually going to take over the media space with tough, provoking discussions, trying to contextualize and put into perspective some of the contradictions and inherent contradictions we have in our national discourse, ranging from the First Republic, the establishment of our nation, the introduction of the progressive forces, the collapse of the True Party, the emergence of the Second Republic, The subsequent abortive coups, our roller coaster, senseless civil war, and all of the major peace conferences and dialogue up to the comprehensive peace agreement from Banjul to Akosombo to Benin to Togo, Cotonou, everywhere there were conferences. And then came the comprehensive peace agreement in Accra that culminated into the transitional government of Judy Bryant of blessed memory, and then the subsequent elections to where our country is now. And so I'm quite sure those are going to be the tough talking issues or debates that will be unfolding as this promising media outlet is preparing to take a space in the Liberian media landscape. Having said that, your introduction provided me a mixed reaction. When I got the notification about coming to celebrate and memorialize the legacy of one of the finest sons of Liberia who has fallen in brother leader Alieu Varney Jesse, a man who made history not just for himself, but for our entire country and the continent of Africa. A man who has so much courage and resilience. Then came the introduction from you of the Vanguard Student Unification Party. The Student Unification Party left or has an indelible mark on my conscience. Like you, Heron Gwidi, I had the opportunity and privilege to serve as a member of the Central Committee of the ever potent, indomitable, indefatigable Student Unification Party. I went on to serve as Secretary General of the Vanguard Party. I remain eternally grateful to the comrades, the militants, the Presidium wing who made that possible, who saw a fit in me to be elected as the one who would dot the I and cross the T for the Vanguard Party. And so, as you are aware, the Student Unification Party, Africa's oldest student revolutionary movement, has played a pivotal role and continue to play that role in the national discourse of our country. Long before you have opposition political party or multi-party system in the country, the Vanguard Party was the lone voice as a student institution advocating for social justice, academic freedom, and equal opportunity for every Liberian. The Vanguard Party served and continue to serve as the illumination for the masses, providing light in the darkness, providing direction for the underprivileged, for the disenfranchised Liberians, challenging the status quo on good governance, accountability, transparency. And so the party has been consistent from the First Republic till now. They fought many battles. They won many victories that have left them with scars. And of course, that is the reason why that victory must be celebrated and continue to be celebrated. And so we drawn thousands of veterans, including those in martyrdom, to celebrate the Vanguard Party. That brings me to the first subject matter for which I got an invite. And it's very emotional for me. My eyes are wet. I'm teary because I did not realize, in as much as we are aware of the vicissitude of life and the unpredictability of life, that we know now, we don't know the next second or minute what will happen. I did not imagine that brother leader Varney Alieu Jersey will transcend to martyrdom at this critical stage in our country's history and the world lives. It's personal for me, it's emotional to see a very fine and refined young progressive leader who took up leadership at a very tender age. As young as he was mentally prepared, consciously aware of the issues surrounding our country, issues affecting the youth and student community, and he had a lot of policy prescription, solution guides to mitigate some of the issues we are facing in our country. He was a convicted, dedicated, committed leader to the youth and student community, to the people of Liberia and people of Africa. I pay homage to Varney Alieu Jersey because of what he stood for, because of what he practiced, because of his perspective and worldview on issues. And so one way to remember Varney, the way to remember and appreciate Varney, is to aspire for those things Varney sought to correct. Peaceful, he agitated where necessary to correct the system. He showed up in solidarity with many progressive institutions because he knew and understood that we were in an inescapable network of mutuality, that what affects one affects all. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So Varney availed himself to many solidarity marches. He showed up. Varney did not need invitation. He would identify the cause, he would choose a struggle, and he would show up. He was conspicuous in advocating for the people's agenda. And so this is a loss, an irreparable loss. And like I said, That love for me is personal because I built a personal relationship with Varney over the years. He has shown nothing but high level of respect and courtesy for me. Voluntarily, he took up battles for me and fought alongside with me. To the student community. Varney left an indelible mark on my conscience. I remember when the evil forces came against Varney because of his progressive stance and introduced a grand conspiracy to have a character tinted and undercut his progressive march. Varney was pushed against the wall. Interestingly, Varney did not allow that to define him. Varney, being resilient, being courageous, with the fortitude, knew that he had a greater responsibility. And a conspiracy was just a moment. It was not going to succeed. You were not going to allow that to break him down. You were not going to allow that to define him. And so Varney came out strong. Varney came out strong from a grand conspiracy. Varney went on to get elected as the president, historically, the first Liberian to get elected as the president for the All African Student Union. He walked from the prison. And so Varney made history for our country. Sadly, and unfortunately, our country is not used to celebrating accomplished citizens. It happens momentarily, but it's not a cultural thing like Liberia for our historical songs to be documented and celebrated throughout the existence of the country. Varney has placed himself in the calendar of national discourse. Varney should be kept in the calendar of national discourse. As a Liberian, accomplishing such feat should not be a one-day news, should not be a 7-day news, should be a generational news, generation after generation will be inspired that we need to create more Varney jersey. Varney achieved as the president of the All African Student Union. You could build up on that, get inspired, and become president, maybe for the World Student Union, or maybe for some interconnected student union, or beyond that. And so that is the bar Varney raised. I remember when Liberia first digital census was being conducted, and there was this array of misinformation and disinformation into the public space. Even some segment of the student community got contaminated, became vulnerable and fell prey to those misinformation and disinformation. It even polluted them that some of them went demonstrating, presenting a petition at the U.S. Embassy. At some point in time, some of them were having their own press conferences. And Varney, on his own, unbeknownst to me, started to challenge forces from the student community that were being manipulated. Varney took upon himself that singular action to ensure that no matter how many persons were in their numbers determined to mislead the country, determined to label us, determined to blackmail us, he endeavored to ensure that in as much as they were in their multitude, their action and word did not represent the fact. And so he challenged elements within the student community. And so Varney had arranged a meeting at the Moonlight Bar and Restaurant on his own. I get this call by around 7:30 p.m. that evening. And said, brother leader, I've been engaging. I have done my own due diligence. I've followed up with the partners. And it's shameful to say that while you are doing an incredible job, you are transparently working, you have no link to corruption, people have decided to blackmail you, to damage your reputation, and I am availing myself to be that bridge. So if you have the time, please come. I'm bringing in the student leaders so you can better explain to them, finding on his own, arrange that meeting at the Moonlight Bar and Restaurant somewhere opposite the Mines and Energy Ministry, adjacent the Connex headquarters around the Booster Quarter community. And while the meeting was going on, the president of the Liberian National Student Union then was in that meeting, Mohammed Gandhi Kamara. Officials of LINSU were in that meeting, Wama and others. I think Wama was the vice president then for international affairs. We're having a very good meeting. And some talks evaded that meeting and attempted to attack me on grounds that I should account for the Liberian people $2 million that they said they heard on one convicted international criminal Stanton Witherspoon program that I had transferred $2 million to Ivory Coast in a secret account that I own. And so it was very horrible. I came on a serious attack. Varney just stood up. Even though the guys were in that number, he stood up to protect me. He took one of the guys' phone because they were trying to say they're going live to do recording and call on the restaurant, to call on their bouncers to come. That's how we got saved from the attack of those talks. That speaks to the kind of human being Varney Jesse was. And he said, look, this is just the beginning. I want to go from radio station to radio station. I want to go to community, from community to community. We need a joint team to dispel these malicious lies against you, not just against you, but against the country, because the census is a national imperative. The country needs that for development planning purposes. We need to have this census. These people don't want this to go on, will not allow it. And so, Varney, and we ask for another audience. in disseminating what is happening with respect to the censor and to counter the lies that have polluted the airspace. So that was Varney, Jersey for me and to me. And when we took Echo Bank, Martin Colley, Ellis Williams, and Yusuf Kumar to court for action of damages for defamation, Varney, Jersey was critically ill. Varney, Jersey was critically ill. And Varney said he would leave his sick bed to testify in that case. So the court subpoena, Varney was a subpoena witness in the case with Martin Colley, Ellis Williams, Echo Bank, and Yusuf Kumar. The case was assigned for 9 o'clock in the morning. Billy, Varney, Jersey was at the court, not looking very well in health. Sick man. He said, I owe this to you, brother leader. I owe this to our country. The sick man was sworn in on an oath. He took the witness stand and he testified to witnessing the harsh realities of how the blackmail led to people attacking me, attempting to harm me and kill me. He testified about this Buddha quarter experience at the Moonlight Bar and Restaurant before leaving for India. And so, what a man Varney Jersey was. What more can I say about this man? He was the definition of a human being. And I owe him a great deal of gratitude. And reciprocity is very important and key. And I owe this to Varney and his offspring. I'm sure Varney has an offspring, and by the grace of God, we will be with the offspring of those people, because we owe it. We owe it to Varney, Jersey. And as I speak to you, though we got a favorable ruling from that case, we still believe that Echo Bank should be held liable under the doctrine of respondent superior, because Echo Bank employee that was employed with the institution up to the time those fraudulent activities were carried on from the bank, giving out bank statements to be manipulated to malign us. So even though Martin Colley, Yusuf Kumar have been found liable and to pay 100,000 damages, we think Echo Bank should be held liable. And so we took the matter to the Supreme Court. And so one way I believe, and I've gotten more convinced and convicted on why the matter of the Supreme Court should be pursued to a logical conclusion. And immediately I heard about Varney Jersey's death, the first person I contacted for confirmation, because I know how dear he was to him, was Professor Dr. Arthur Johnson. When he confirmed to me that Varney had passed, then I knew then that we've lost the brother. And so I sent him a text. Professor Dr. Arthur Johnson, I said to him, when Varney Jersey was against the war, when all odds were against him for grand conspiracy, you, Professor Dr. Arthur Johnson, took a singular action to take out a case and represent it in court. And because of that singular action, Varney got released from prison. Varney went on to become elected as the first Liberian president of the All African Student Union of Liberia. Again, nature has brought that opportunity back to you to ensure that Varney Jersey's name remain on the pages of history. That obligation, Professor Dr. Ada Johnson, it rests on your shoulder to ensure that the matter of the Supreme Court can be logically concluded so that the Supreme Court opinion for generations to come, whether you're reading law, whether you got legal case, similar or such, that landmark case, when you are reading about that case, when you are studying about that case, the name Varney Alieu Jersey will be on those pages. And I'm broken. I'm broken. I'm broken. I'm devastated. And I don't think I can say anything further. I'm getting teary. It's getting emotional for me. We lost a dear brother. We lost a dear brother. His loss is indeed irreparable.
Certainly,
It's
certainly,
so.
Comrade Smith. Yes, of course, that is the same with everybody who interacted with Comrade Varney Jesse. He was one selfless character that you can close your eye and say, for this comrade, I know that Liberia is going to be safe. He was not particular about wealth. For him, the struggle for a just society was above everything else in his fight for justice. He dedicated his life to those selfless engagements, and it is important that young people in the student community listen and learn from the works of Comrade Varney Alieu Jesse, a fallen hero, an indefatigable crusader of social justice in Africa, and a militant revolutionary who has contributed so much to the transformation of Liberia. In the weeks to come, we are going to be hearing more and more testimonies about the life of Comrade Varney Jesse and how he fought gallantly without cutlasses and knife. He didn't have to carry cutlasses and knife anywhere. He was an intellectual bulldozer. He could engage anybody on the intellectual front and prevail. He was a fearless militant, and once he has a direction, his is an accomplishment of the collective aspiration. Varney Jesse is the name. I would like to equate him to the Cristiano Ronaldo of student politics. That is the extent to which he was perfect. If you want to be regarded in the student community, you must take up your time and study the life of Comrade Varney Jesse. He was a selfless character. He was a selfless character. We will be hearing from a number of comrades next week, and this will go hand in hand with commemorating the Vanguard Student Unification Party and the student struggle in Liberia. But it is important that we recognize the work of our fallen comrade, Varney Alieu Jesse. So, Comrade Smith, your story is very, very telling. Your story is very, very telling. And the story of Comrade Wilmot Smith when he was down and everybody was berating him and bullying him all around, it took Varney Jesse, irrespective of what other people would say, to be able to look at what is just and say, no matter what, I have to come in defense. That was the character of the fallen comrade. He does not care who you are. What matters to him is whether justice is dispensed or not. And if you are on the wrong side of justice, Varney Jesse was capable of crushing you. He was this young man who actually rose above the test of time in Liberia. He rose above the political cleavages. He was a great, great young man. I have never seen in recent time, and I dedicated some part of my life to working with young people in the student community, and I can say I have not seen in recent time comrades in the student community who was so forceful, but yet altruistic, like Comrade Varney Jesse. So we are going to be hearing more and more stories of such. And we're also going to delve deep and deeper into the student community. Next week, we'll be talking to Comrade Bawa Branell. We'll be talking to Comrade Uriah Stiapo. We'll be talking to Comrade Janga Augustus Ko. We'll be talking to Comrade Chairman J. Kakrua Fode. And we will be talking to a host of other comrades all across Liberia and the diaspora to ensure that we have some accounts that are going to bring the student body, the student community, to some realization that intellectual warfare is greater than violent altercations. We are going to be reflecting on those things that made the student community great yesterday. When we were at the University of Liberia, there was Thomas Donan, there was T. Nibali Wanda, there was Samuel Tuer, the intellectual gladiator. And what occurred on the university campus was an exchange of intellectuals' notes and intellectual combativities. The battles were never physical. The battles were intellectuals. If Soup was victorious yesterday, Soup was victorious because they had a grip on the intellectual battle. We ought to reflect on how Soup, in the midst of all of the political machinations, how Soup came to survive to this date. The university is becoming a little terrible because of the lack of democratic tolerance on the part of the administration of the university. And so students are not being prepared to be civil citizens in the larger Liberian society. What is obtaining is the absence of a legitimate student government that has the authority to represent the student community and engage administration through an intellectual dialogue. And as such, we have administration evading her responsibility and pushing the students to choosing confrontation as the first option for redress. It is important for us to take our time to reflect on all of these things. But our comrade Varney Jersey has been so dear to us.
So very dear. So very
And
dear.
we cannot ignore his contribution
We
in our
must not.
country, especially when it coincides with the celebration of the anniversary of the Student Unification Party. The question that comes to mind is, was his death on this historical time a coincidence or a reflection of his true nature as a fearless revolutionary? These are issues to ponder as we look deep into the student struggle in Liberia. Comrade Smith, I think for this introductory engagement of the Vote 24 online media, we can close with your parting comment, and we will be back on air tomorrow and
You
the entire time next week.
can you put up that subpoena document. Can you place on the screen for me?
You send it to me
Yes, if you have it.
on my WhatsApp.
No,
On what? Messenger?
the messenger. Correct.
Let me see. Okay.
You know,
Yeah, you can go ahead talking and let me get it.
um, I'm hoping that my medical procedure over here in the my medical procedure over here in the United States, I'm hoping it can be concluded in the coming days, so that I can join the commerce in Liberia to say goodbye to our fallen brother leader and escort him to his grave. Um, like you said, we must not ignore at no point in time the historical progressive contribution of Matar Varney Alieu Jersey with respect to the forward march of our country. A man fond of so much confidence is no more. A selfless leader who only sought for the welfare and well-being of the youth and students of Liberia, Africa, the well-being of the people of Liberia is no more. He has transitioned from the politics and the intellectual calisthenics. He has transitioned from he has retired. He has retired from the politics. He has retired from the politics and intellectual calisthenics of our country, our continent, yea, the world, and has transitioned to martyrdom. Varney should live in the heart of every well-meaning Liberian. Every Liberian who wants to see a better Liberia. Every Liberian who wants to see a Liberia prosper. Every Liberian who wants to see better incentives, better facility for university students, high school students across Liberia and Africa should carry Varney in their heart. Varney is dead, it's no more, but those values and principles he left back with us should be cherished and should be used to celebrate his legacy in our words and in our action. Um, I also, want to use this occasion. Today happens to be the birthday of my mother, Sano Finasalo Faya. I just want to use this medium to also say happy birthday to her. Her birthday comes at a time I'm out of the country, I'm out of Liberia, seeking medical attention. I I want to thank God for her, for all she have done. I want to thank her and appreciate her for all she have done for me, my siblings, and all that have crossed our path. May God continue to strengthen her, give us long life, that we celebrate more years with her. Do you get the stuff? Something is very clear. It's not very clear on the screen. I don't know why, but maybe you can have it on the screen and read it. I will appreciate whether you could read that, so that those in the diaspora in Liberia can have an idea as to what is in the document. Can you hear me?
This is not working. So I think we ought to leave by now. We want to say thanks to those who took up your time to follow us. I know it's already late in Liberia, but uh, we took like an hour through this program, and we are happy that you were online following us. We'd just like to say thank you for your time and look forward to seeing you on tomorrow, getting more reflection on the life of Comrade Varney Jesse and the Student Unification Party and the student struggle in general. Uh, Comrade Smith, if you just want to give your parting comment.
Well, let's keep celebrating the life and legacy of our fallen brother leader, Varney Alieu Jesse. Varney Alieu Jesse, the name should not be mentioned once. That's a name that should be kept in our disco and historical archive. In the coming days, I will avail myself to be involved with the discussion surrounding the Vanguard Party and several other discussions that will evolve culminating from our national discourse. So again, let me thank you. Let me say a big thank you to the listening audience. Watch out for Vote 2024, Vote 24 in the not too far distant future with innovation and creativity, commitment and dedication. They will be coming to you every corner, providing you credible, reliable information and bringing sanctity to the discourse.
You seeing the
So thank
document?
you.
Are you
Yeah, I'm
seeing the
seeing it.
document?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Okay.
Can you read the document?
Um, Let me see. Let me open it better and read it. Uh, so it says writ of subpoena and ad testificandum, Republic of Liberia, to the sheriff for Monserrado County or his deputy. Greetings. You are hereby commanded to subpoena Mr. Vanny Jesse to appear before the 6th Judicial Circuit Civil Law Court, Annex for Monserrado County, Republic of Liberia, sitting in its December AD 2024 term of court on Wednesday, January 8, 2025 at 10 o'clock a.m. to testify to Mr. William Smith being attacked, to Mr. Wilmer Smith rather, being attacked by an unknown person for stolen census money in an amount of 2 million US dollar as alleged by Echo Bank in the case. Mr. Wilmer Smith, former Deputy Director General for Information Coordination at the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services of the City of Monrovia, Monserrado County, Liberia, Plaintiff versus J. Alex Williams, Martin K. N. Colley, the management of Echo Bank Liberia Limited to the City of Monrovia, Monserrado County, Liberia. Defendant for trial damage for wrong by attachment. Now, before the Civil Law Court Annex, Temple of Justice, Monserrado County. You will thereafter make your official returns with signature thereon at the back of the subpoena as to the manner and form of service, and have you there this rate of subpoena given under the hands and seal of this honorable court this 7th January 80, 2025. Alex D. Kubli, Senior Assistant Clerk of Court, Civil Law Court Annex. There you have it.
That was what I mentioned earlier. And at that point, Varney was sick. But Varney did not allow the sickness to define or keep him down. He did not allow the sickness to stop him from protecting somebody whose character was being destroyed. He did not allow the sickness to hold him down for standing up for the truth, for advocating for social justice. And so that's what I said. The way to celebrate Varney is to ensure his name is left on the pages of history. It'll be a wonderful time with you from the group. Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Looking forward to
Smith. And with this, viewers, we'd like to call this a close and hoping to see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Liberia's time. Thank you very much for your presence and love. You guys watch out for Vote 24. Like and subscribe for more of these engagement. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.